Welcome to round 14 of my F1 2013 Korean season. We're here in Korea and about to get onto the main straight for our qualifying lap. Again, made it easily into Q3 on prime tyres, actually. Using prime tyres in Q1 and Q2, so did use a fresh set in Q2.
30 seconds left in the session.
But there's a lot of difference in time between the option and the prime tyres. So here we are, going for the hairpin, and on to another straight, the support straight. There's a secondary pits on the right. And here we go. You can see I'm slightly behind on Alonso. Less than a tenth of a second. I sort of limited my top speed in favor for race pace or better acceleration during the race. When the fuel loads are up and you're usually on standard mix anyway. Should have a lot of grip though in this mid sector. Was dominant through practice and outpaced everybody by a country mile in Q1. Let's see if we can put that similar advantage on the prime tyres onto the option tyres as well. And that middle sector, nice, good, clean flow. Bam, 4 tenths down on Alonso, so we're doing quite well. A few more turns to go. And here we are into the final corner again with the tricky pit entry on the right. Not going there right now until the finish line, and we do get a 130. Can't quite read it. There, 138.863, 8 tenths quicker than Fernando Alonso, who's in second. Sebastian Vettel third. Lewis Hamilton, my closest competitor, is in fourth, followed by his teammate Nico Rosberg. Then Mark Webber, teammate Kimi Raikkonen is only in seventh. Then Massa, Jensen, and Sergio to round up the top 10. So there you go. I'll park for my celebration for Team Lotus. Of course, we have to race as well. Around 55 laps on the Korea International Circuit, Yeongam, South Korea. Might add, we're not going to North Korea. I think the world is quite ready for that yet, but we'll see. So let's quickly, of course, as usual, look at the rest of the grid. There's your top 10 again. See if there are any other surprises that you missed in Q1 and Q2. There we go. Nico just missed out. The rest stands right behind him, 12th, and Gutierrez decent qualifying again, close to his teammate. 13th, so he's getting better. And Sutil, Verne, Bottas out qualifying Maldonado, who's in 18th. And we get to the back markers again. There are no real big surprises there. Great if Hamilton would screw up or something. So he was a bit surprised to see a two-stopper with 2 prime stints. But given that, I decided to go safe, go a little bit of an undercut thingy going again if needed, so I avoid everybody else in the pit lane, because that will seriously hamper my pit stop time, as it tends to do. Checking the fuel race strategy, or race fuel strategies. Cautious, still thinking about it. Nope, go for normal in the end. And let's get going. It's a short run to the start-finish line.
Go.
And we're about to make our way to the grid in the warm-up lap. You don't have to do the warm-up lap. There you go. That's my teammate. And here I am. You can see Lewis Hamilton there on the left side in my mirrors. Alonso to the left of me, Vettel behind me. A lot of wheel spin again and pretty slow off the line once more. Vettel sneaks into my left. Two Mercedes are next to each other. I brake a little bit late, go a little bit off track. A little bit of contact with the Red Bull of Vettel. Use all my curves to get as much top speed to make sure I get ahead of these guys as quickly as possible. Alonso seems a bit unstable. Dive on the inside next to him. Still a bit easy on the brakes, but I've got the inside line. There's nowhere for him to go. Vettel actually slams into Alonso, allowing an opportunity for Hamilton to sneak by, and he was now in third position at the moment. Alonso thinks about looking. No, can't quite do it. I'm better on the brakes than he is. We'll go single file into the second sector. Now it's only trying to get used to the car. This race had an R&D objective for me this time around, so I've got less tire wear, 10% less tire wear, which is quite significant. Not sure if it's actually upgraded in this race or the next one. But the prime tire should last pretty long, so it shouldn't be much of an issue here today. So 6/10 is the difference now. Time to see if I can pull the gap to a second before the DRS starts to open up, which is of course starting lap 3. When that happens, here I find out I'm still on lean mix, so that doesn't really help my top speed at all. 7/10 is the gap at the end of the first lap, going into lap number 2. Alonso's doing well to follow at the moment. Staying with me. As Hamilton seems to drop back a little bit. You can clearly see the blue dot on the left side on the mini-map. That's Lewis Hamilton. Here, which one is my teammate? You'd figure Lewis would be good on top speed, and there already something happened in the back because there are a few guys probably who came together. And there's one guy who's already quite a ways away from the pack. Very tricky, very slow little tidbit here off the track. Open up the throttle. Now we go to that nice mid sector. I like this sector actually. If you can get the good flow, you can gain massive amounts of time here. So, knowing me, I was less than consistent through this area. I got more consistent as the race goes along. Of course, can't quite fully throttle it through here in third yet with these heavy cars. The car feels very nice. And I'm in the second. I've reached my target. Of course, I have to keep it smooth. I have to be at a second away from him. And the DRS marker begins, so to speak. Somewhere, I think, just after turn 1. I'm not sure exactly where it is, to be honest, on this track. There you go, you can see the detection point is just indeed after turn 1 and 2. I'm not sure if actually this one counts as turn 2. Probably does. Here's the detection point. I'm 1.2 ahead at the finish line, so I should be safe. Lewis has dropped back a bit from Alonso as well. It looks like Kimi's going for it. So a little bit further ahead now, lap number 4. No changes at the moment, but you can see that Lewis has dropped off significantly. And maybe Kimi is very close, so he's in 4th. Can he make the pass? No, Vettel is actually ahead of him first. Makes the pass on Lewis. Puts him down to 4th. Which is all good for me since Lewis is my closest competitor. While I'll set a purple sector time. So there you go. He's already 3.4 seconds behind Alonso, and Alonso's 1.6 seconds behind me. There you go, still at the end of lap 4. You can see Kimi now being feisty, quite close behind Lewis. 1.5 at the finish line, so he gains a little bit me on the last sector. Vettel was actually still losing out. And Kimi makes the pass on Lewis. Takes 4th place, dropping back Hamilton even a bit further, which is all good news for me. I'm not complaining in the least. So let's hope Kimi can keep that position and get a very strong result for our team. I set a purple sector in sector 1.
There's not much between
1.9 seconds and start slowly working on the gap again, hopefully. So lap 5, a little bit further ahead again. And I improved the fastest lap to 1:44.695. I was 6/10 quicker than my previous lap and immediately jumped the gap up to 2.3 seconds to Fernando Alonso. Raikkonen has to pull away from Lewis Hamilton. As you can see in the minimap, that gap is about 2.2 seconds at this time. Confirmation of my fastest lap is at the top of the screen. So, going quite strongly in the opening stages. Of course, the fuel brings it back up a little bit closer pace-wise, so I'm not pulling away as fast as I would if I was on low fuel. But I got another purple's first sector, which is just basically the 2 straights and 2 very tight corners. So end of lap 6 now. Onto the straight, into the nice looking overpass, I have to say. Bam! Another slight improvement, only just, but still a 1:44.653. 3.2 seconds is now the gap to Fernando Alonso. So I'm starting to find the pace in this car on these tyres. It's starting to work for me. Doesn't feel really as sluggish as it did on some other races in the opening. Lap 9 there, so a bigger jump now. Nothing much happening. There you go, 4/10 quicker than my previous lap. And another purple first sector. So even after 10 laps on these tyres, only 1 lap before my planned pit stop, I still can do quite a pace. Seem to have enough traction in it to get good acceleration going. There you go. A little bit of curbing, nothing an issue. Down a second still, of course. So, ooh, get a bit of grass on the inside there, not good. And there you go, no purple mid-sector again. Too bad. Lap 10, so this is where I'm supposed to pit. I got the tire wear up because of the message, and it's not too bad, so I'm trying to extend it. Going for a different strategy, switching up to high mix to get some extra top speed down the straight. Gap is up to 4.3 seconds. So I stretch it out to at lap 13, and where I meet my first back marker in the name, Gilles Bianchi was probably the guy with the issue in the opening few laps of the race. You can see Lewis Hamilton's in the pit lane. Kimi just passes him again. Pitted a lap earlier. A little bit later in the lap now. Alonso is now back, or is back in 3rd. They've settled down a bit. The question, of course, is have I been able to do enough to get out ahead of Sebastian Vettel, who jumped Alonso in the pit lane? Tires look pretty bad. So going a lot more would be way too much. There you go, there goes the engineer. If he starts talking, you're probably too late. 22 seconds should be enough. It's gonna be pretty close. I'm not sure exactly what the pit time is. It's not too bad actually, it's not too long. It's a very short pit exit, of course. It's one of the strangest ones, and still one of the strangest ones on the calendar. And there you go, straight back onto the throttle. And it's Vettel sets the fastest lap. Of course, he'd already been out a lap or 2 on his new set of tyres. He was on primes. I'm on options, going for a different strategy. Wondering if I can do enough to pull the gap. I should have an advantage, of course, being on the quicker tyre. 4.2 seconds left, so still, yeah, a decent gap still. No danger of being taken by DRS. .6. So it already seems I'm gaining a little bit there. 5 seconds. And I'm already gaining on Sebastian Vettel. But he still sets the fastest lap at the moment at 1:44.394, which is only 0.3 slower than my current best on the options in my previous stint. So here we are, lap 15. The first proper lap on the pace, and I get slowed down a little bit by Jules Bianchi. Get a bit aggressive to get him out of the way. Well, we're by neither, not really, well, a little bit disadvantaged by it, but not too much. There's a significant problem, it's that the game doesn't even get me so much as a warning for it. There's much more grip now through those faster corners on new tyres. And the sunny skies, light cloud cover should give me an advantage as well on the Lotus. Another purple mid-sector there, to be expected. Still a bit cautious here. I do attack the curb quite a bit sometime. And there you go, 1:43.871. That was a bit of hold up, so let's see if I can improve that even further. 5.4 seconds, gain about 4/10 over the course of that lap.
Brilliant lap. You're driving as
And
well as
Hamilton
I've
is
ever seen.
10 odd
This is
seconds
exactly
behind
what we need
Kimi,
to
as
do
you can
here.
see. So Kimi doing well so far. There you go. I expected 6/10 quicker than my previous, so Jules Bianchi did slow me down quite a bit.
We have a 6-second
Back
gap
markers
over
tend
the
to
car
do
behind.
is-
Come on.
So here we go. What's the time? A 1:42.988. Sorry, that 8/10 quicker than my previous lap. 6.4 seconds is the gap to Sebastian Vettel. Kimi seems still pretty solid in 4th at the moment. And as I encounter more back markers, we're now on lap 18. The Dutchman, who's now a test driver for Sauber. Team that's struggling with the new regulations. And another one, Max Chilton, of course, the other Caterham driver. And that person ahead is indeed a Caterham. And there's Williams stuck behind it. He goes out of the way from me on the long, long straight. There goes, slows down the Caterham of Shaw Peak. It's me back by, so there's quite a few cars lapped already again. A bit further ahead, and here we see a Toro Rosso of Vern. Oh, goes to the right. Just as I was about to veer to the right, so I come in just in time. So no issue there. Lap 21. Bit of an update. Let's see where we stand in terms of the gap.
You're coming up on a group of slow-moving cars. Try to pass them quickly.
13 seconds ahead of Sebastian, so a comfortable lead at the moment. Kimi actually looking quite solidly in third at the moment, so Alonso definitely had problems. Which is all more good news for me, so more competitors are slowly slipping back. I doubt Kimi would have the pace to catch Vettel, but since his pace on those option tyres is quite good actually. And I set a purple mid-sector. I can actually pull off another improvement to the fastest lap out of my hat. Even though we're already well into the stint again. "14 seconds now, gap is still slowly increasing. Not by as much as you would expect, or as I expected. But yes, I do indeed improve the fastest lap time to 1:42.801. And there you go. Like another engineer finished talking there. There's Daniel Ricciardo, the other Toro Rosso driver. Who's now driving for Red Bull and doing very well for that team. At least compared to his teammate, the team is doing not so well this season.
Don't forget, pit in this lap.
Oof. A little bit of a tight pass there through that mid-sector, but it all goes well. Getting another back marker out of the way. So the game already wants me to pit. I've been on these tyres for only 10 laps, so I definitely want to stretch it to at least lap 26. So here we are, lap 26. And I managed to improve my lap time. I had a little moment last lap. That's why I'm 2 seconds quicker. Nothing fancy. Just went wide a little bit. I got my car onto the curves and the braking, which of course immediately locks the tyres. And this becomes very hard to get out of it. Ooh, a little bit of a slidey. I think I had to break hard for that corner there. Keep it together though on the exit. So I'm just about on target, and at this point in time I'm keeping an eye on the times between me and Vettel. See if I'm still pulling away, because I want of course to stretch these tyres as long as I can. So
Okay, prime for your next box.
a quick spin through the tyre or section so to see where I'm at.
You're pulling out the gap between you and Vettel. He's
There's
dropping
Bianchi
back
again.
by a second a lap.
"17 seconds. Left 29. Tyre lock, nothing really happened. I broke normal time, but this is a sign where I pushed too long on these tyres. Been on them for 15 laps, which is a bit too much, so it would seem. Maybe cautious on the braking, lifting off a little bit before I step on it. Lost 2.5 seconds there with that little moment. And the earlier moment was at the end of that second straight, already just gone by. Starting to suffer on the braking as well a little bit. At this point I'm just taking it a bit easier. Trying to anyway, but I know Vettel's gonna pass me.
Looks like the DRS isn't working. The guys are looking into a fix.
DRS is not the worst thing to lose, even like a bit wider. The tyres are really going quickly now.
There's a 15-second gap between you and the car behind.
But I managed to pull a bit longer than I was expecting to. So that's actually pretty nice. So we're into lap 30 now. Okay, Vettel's now coming onto the straight, and he will surely pass me. Whoop. There he goes. Alonso is in 4th, Hamilton still in 5th.
The track is clear.
The further Hamilton finishes, the further back Hamilton finishes, the better it is for me. So let's hope the Mercedes driver does have some pace issues today. We've lost one driver this point already. That driver is Ilka Rosberg. No idea what happened to him, but there you go. So on the prime tyres now. So now I've run both tyres. In theory I should be able to make it to the end on these tyres. Only 3 seconds behind Sebastian.
According to our estimates, Vettel should be stopping for tyres
3.6, so it's not too bad. He's got a couple of more laps to go to his pit stop. End of lap 30, and much closer behind already. Of course, a bit too far away
Pit crew will ready option
from
tyres
for
near
DRS,
stop.
so I already pre-select options here in case I have to make another stop. Shouldn't be necessary, but depending on pace-wise on these tires compared to them, I might just do that anyway. I got a lot more top speed than him. Actually braking a bit earlier just to avoid really getting too close. And accidentally maybe hitting him or losing grip because of it. But looking for a pass. A bit late lunge, but my tires are very good and I make it stick. So late lunge, but it works. No contact there and a good clean pass into first, which is of course it's crucial. It means I am a pit stop ahead of Sebastian Vettel already. There's already a back marker ahead of us. Looks to be a Marussia. Let's hope we can get rid of that one quite quickly as well. He moves over. Car's getting lighter and lighter, of course, so now I can stick into third gear now. Going purple, and already 2 seconds down.
The car behind. We need to keep it clean.
Sebastian
so he doesn't
Vettel,
get a
which of
chance
course is
to
great for me. It
overtake.
means he's already out my DRS zone and then some. So he's definitely struggling for pace now at the moment. So let's see if we can improve the lap already. Yep, 1:42.482. Now that was with a pass and everything. So Vettel now 5 seconds down. So we definitely got held up by the back marker. And Lewis Hamilton is getting pretty close to Alonso, and there you see, a little bit later on, he has made it pass. So Lewis Hamilton passed Fernando Alonso for fourth. But unfortunately, I would have rather seen Alonso finish ahead of him, but there you have it.
Vettel just peeled off into the pits. He's in the pit lane now.
So Vettel's in the pit lane. It looks my teammate is going in the pit lane as well. As I continue on. And so is Lewis Hamilton, it seems. Yes, so everybody top 4 pits, top 5 pits as well, because I see Alonso getting in there as well. Everybody getting fresh rubber, and for them it definitely will be the last step. For me, I'm not too sure yet. Depends on tyre wear on these tyres and the respective pace towards the man in second place. But I am in control of this race at this moment. It is mine to lose. So lap 36. Purple sector 2. 9/10 quicker than my previous lap. Like I said, if you can get that mid-sector right, you can win heaps of time through there. And I wasn't too consistent there. Bam! Improvement of a 10th only, but 1:42.339 is the fastest lap. Almost get myself caught out by the curves, run a little bit wide. Upsets me a little bit. But right around 30-second gap, as you can hear the engineers say, to Sebastian Vettel. And if you look at the minimap, you can see that Hamilton is getting closer and closer to Raikkonen there. And they're now getting onto the main straight. And Hamilton is right up as well, so he will surely be able to get him. As I could turn a little bit wide here in the middle sector.
Vettel's trailing you. He's 30 seconds
There's
behind.
Lewis Hamilton. He disappears under the dot of Raikkonen. And he spears in front of him, and he's now in 3rd place, so Hamilton moved up another spot onto a podium position. Let's hope he doesn't climb any further than that. Lap 41. There's Hamilton, now free from Kimi, sets the fastest lap to 1:42.075, which is quite an impressive lap, I have to say.
Trailing you, he's 30 seconds behind.
And I have another back marker in front of me in the name of Jensen Button. It's getting a bit weird, but he goes a little bit wide here, allowing me past. Actually almost go a bit too wide, but it all just goes well. We're gonna skip ahead soon. A little bit further ahead now, lap later, lap 42. See where we all stand. Oh, there you go. Go a bit too much on the curb as I in the braking zone, of course. Locked my tyres. Fortunately, I got my Kurz back, which was out for a few laps. But it doesn't help, of course. Marbles on my tyres. Do get a little bit of DRS from Button, so thank you for that. So Button's 17 seconds. This is Hamilton behind Sebastian. See what the damage is. Hamilton sets the fast lap to a 1:41.7. And it was a moment with Perez and the back marker. We're both off track there in the sector 2. Managed to avoid Perez well enough. That means that Button actually wins the position probably over Perez. So lap 46, the game was already telling me the pit time was not too bad, but my pace is slightly dropping in comparison to Vettel. So with 9 laps to go, and enough margin left to get out ahead of him, I decided to make a pit stop and go for a short sprint on option tyres, which should definitely secure the win of this race. So if there's any other checking crew being done, another pit crew waiting.
There's some traffic at the pit exit. Watch out as you rejoin the track.
So Rosset to my left.
You have no more
Detection
scheduled
line.
pit stops, so look after your tyres.
And get a burst of DRS down the main straight out of the pit box, which of course is always nice. So let's see how much I have left after the pit stop. I don't know for sure. We've got, you can see Hamilton turn on the straight and Kimi is a bit behind him, so Hamilton's definitely got the pace over Kimi. Let's wait for the time to show up. 7 seconds, 7.7 seconds is the gap, and I should have the better tyres. So I'm not too worried now, especially since his are pretty worn and mine, of course, are just about new. I think I have 2 new sets of tyres. A little bit later in that lap 47. Let's see what it can do in one sector alone. 9 seconds, there you go. Talk about pulling a gap. Technically didn't need to pit, but I'm saving much quicker than I was before, of course, on these much quicker option tyres, so it seems like a 3-stopper is actually better than a 2-stopper just because of the tyre difference between the options and the primes. 10 seconds in the start finish line, so I gained basically 3 seconds in 2 sectors. So that's a massive difference. But it shows that I actually have a pretty damn good car today. Of course, it's the purple sector time. No surprises there. Lewis Hamilton's 20 odd seconds behind Vettel, so the podium seems pretty much a done deal. And next up we're gonna skip a little bit ahead to lap 53. As we're gonna see, we're gonna be doing time wise 1:39.859. So there you have it. Going on the outside of, I think, Maldonado. Yep, there you go, into turn 1. That's confirmation.
Nice driving. That was the fastest lap of the race.
And already 14 seconds ahead of Sebastian Vettel. And lap 50 now. Okay, more to show than I thought I did there. Actually forgot about my own editing there. Good stuff. Now my position isn't in much danger at all anymore. It's more or less just bringing the car home and not doing anything crazy. Improving the lap time a little bit more to 39.839. So yeah, there you can see a difference, half a tenth. Oh, but there you go, it counts, it counts. Alright, so lap 53. There you have the caterer again. Just gonna be running 20th. Yep. So this is lap 53. I'm gonna go to the end of lap 53 right about now. I decided to save my course and see if you can get like one more purple lap time out of it. Get a bit of DRS. No, don't, unfortunately. Not from the Marussia. Might get DRS from the Caterham though, let's see. Yes, I do. Open up the rear wing. Let's see if I can improve my own lap time here. And one lap before the race. Seems a bit unnecessary to take these risks. And oop, the Caterham goes very right off track. And these brakes have gone 29 seconds is the gap, so I actually managed to extend the gap so far. I'm basically back to the old gap, and even actually bigger than it was before I pitted. So that's how much quicker these option tyres are in the late stages of the race, and of course the car just works better as well, just because of the lighter fuel loads. So far it didn't go too well. This should have cost me a little bit of time. Get the throttle back on. See if we're still purple. Yes, we are. Of course, I had a slow previous lap, so that's why it looks like I'm going so quickly, but of course pace time is always compared to your previous lap. On to the main straight. Let's see if I made it. Let's see if I made it. It's gonna be very close. No! Just over a tenth down, so I messed it up. Didn't get really nailed that last sector. So the fastest lap of the race is going to be stuck at a 1:39.893. So I'm already celebrating here on the support straight, being stupid as I go too wide and actually go off track a little bit. But yeah, I have 33 seconds ahead of Vettel, so I can afford that little mistake. Didn't run any damage at all, so then it's just fine in that sense. I can use a few seconds. I'm already on lean mix in this lap anyway, so I'm not really pushing for a quick lap again. There you go, going down to fourth, just taking a bit more easier now. Decided to not do any more silly moves until the Very straight. There you go. Couple more turns to go. There's one. That's one more. And this is pretty much the last one. Very easy on the throw, not really pushing down anyway. Victory weave. And over the finish line in first place. And that's a double win again for Lotus and myself. Further extending my lead over Lewis Hamilton by around 10 points this race. There you have the results. Sebastian Vettel got second, Lewis got third, Kimi held on to fourth, Fernando caught up to him quite a bit, he's in fifth, and his teammate Felipe Massa is in sixth. Then Webber, Jensen, Sergio and Gutierrez gets the point ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, so that's nice. Bottas for Williams in 12th place, so not too shabby either. And let's just wait until we go a little bit further down as well. Here we go. Sutil 13th. Paul Di Resta lost out to his teammate then, 14th. And Ricciardo 15th. Maldonado 16th. And Verne in 17th. Max, Fido, Pique, and Jules Bianchi and DNF in the name of Nico Rosberg there as well, of course. So let's move on to the constructors. Of course, now you got the drivers there first. Sorry about that. So 43 points now ahead of Lewis Hamilton. That's almost 2 race wins. So we're going quite well, looking strong in the championship. Vettel third, Fernando fourth. Mark Webber and Felipe Kimi still solidly in 7th, though Rosberg is not too far back. Sergio's still ahead of Jensen by about 12 points, and there we see the rest of them. Gutierrez now on 15th, ahead of Daniel with this, both with 3 points, but I guess Gutierrez gets some better results overall, so that's why he's listed as. And Lotus now exactly 50 points ahead of Red Bull Racing, and Mercedes is only 4 points behind Red Bull in the battle for the Constructors' Championship. So that's not nearly played, and Kimi's going to be important in that battle as well. See if he can get some decent points with us. So the tyre wear actually should help him a little bit as well, maybe. I'm not sure how the AI reacts to the R&D changes, the improvements to the car. But he did pretty damn well next time out. So next we're going to one of my favourite tracks. It's Japan, Suzuka. Let's hope we get a dry race there as well, so I can shine again. Bye bye.